Hello and welcome once again to the Autodromo di Mugello, the second race of the weekend, round 2 of the Ferrari Challenge TropheoPirelli. And it's another 30-minute race around one of the most technical and demanding circuits in Europe. I'm Jake Sanson, beside me is Charlie Hollings. And after yesterday's race, Charlie, we've definitely got another brilliant encounter, predominantly because the circuit is hotter today than it was yesterday.
Absolutely, yes. Looking forward to it. It's close at the front. Daniel Diamato, was on pole by 5/10, I think, nearly 6/10, but he's dropped a few positions because of his grid penalty, from success penalty. But these guys are going to be really close, and as you say, the temperatures are up, so tyres will be going off later on in the race. So it'll be good to watch. Absolutely,
as Charlie stated there, the top 3 drivers from each race. For those who have never seen the Ferrari Challenge before, the top 3 drivers from the previous race take a handicap penalty going into the next race. The winner drops 6 places on the grid for the next race. Second place takes 4-place penalty, and then third place takes 2 penalty. Track temperature about 30 degrees Celsius, so definitely hotter than yesterday, although cooler than it was this morning in qualifying. So it's a bit of a balancing act at the moment, Charlie.
Yeah, I think we have noticed all weekend that although the temperatures are up, it becomes a bit overcast at times, and just looking out to the windows now, there's a few clouds up there and things, so I've noticed the odd temperature drop during the day. So but it's hot enough. They'll be working hard in the cars.
Well, you were out on the track on Friday putting some installation laps for the data, obviously. Now, what is the big challenge of this circuit, particularly in conditions like this?
It's just important to lots of chicanes, three chicanes, and some high-speed flowing corners. So exits out of the chicanes are important, not to overdrive, but still be late and deep into the corners, but just get out of them well. The last corner is critical to get a good run onto the pit straight, which is long in itself, and that's your main, probably I would say, main overtaking opportunity down into turn 1.
One of the great things we've seen in the TropheoPirelli for the first 3 races of this championship so far is in both the Pro and Am categories, 3 races, 3 completely different winners. It really is that close.
Yeah, it's great. Really close on the timesheets and really close in racing. And obviously we've seen a few incidents over the weekend in both classes, which you always do when you're racing. But generally, these guys are driving really well, and just giving each other enough room and giving us good racing.
So with all those handicap penalties sorted out, the grid is very interesting for this one. The fastest man in qualifying was Daniele Diamato. In fact, he was a 1:52.585 seconds on the qualifying lap, which is way, way faster than anybody else was able to get. I think the closest to him was on a 1:53.1, that being Philippe Baron, who dominated the race yesterday, of course, in qualifying and the race. But how Daniele Diamato found 5.5 tenths of a second over 1 lap, that's exceptional in this championship.
No, I've been in the garage with him this weekend, actually, just kind of watching him and how he is over the course of the weekend, and he's a really impressive young driver, and I'm sure he's going to have a big future ahead of him. And the lap time he did was really impressive for one of these challenge cars around here.
So an interesting top 4. We just saw Florian Merckx, the Belgian driver. Here is Oknaj, the Serbian, I think it is. He's a new entry, Slovakian, I should say, for this weekend. Those of you might be wondering where the other fast Slovakian is, Tomas Kukushka. He should be on the grid this weekend, but sadly, in his hometown of Slovakia, in preparation for the event, he decided to have a bit of fun on the motorbike, and it kind of went belly up for him. So he's bent an arm, but the doctor has told him he's not allowed to race, despite the fact he was desperate to. When you're in a championship like this, when it is so close, you are more determined than ever to get out on the grid, even if you pick up an injury.
Yeah, that's a real shame for him, because went well at Monza, and it's a shame he's not out again. I'm sure he's kicking himself now, but he'll be back for the next round, I'm sure.
So this is the man to keep an eye on then, Daniele Diamato of the Moto Piacenza squad. You'll notice him coming through the field. There are 2 different types of Ferrari in terms of what you can see from the outside. The stickers on the windscreen denote who is a pro and who is an AM driver. The pros are with the windscreen sticker being white, behind the logo sponsor of Singer, and the black sticker is for the AM drivers. So it'll be interesting to see how the pros make their way through with the AMs. But even though there is this class differentiation, because everything is so close, it's not surprising to see the AM drivers on terms with the pro very regularly.
Absolutely. What you tend to find with this championship is some of the AMs have done the series for maybe 2, 3, 4 years or longer. I know one of the fast drivers in the copper shell class has been in there for 16 years, Eric Prinoff. So yeah, 16 years in the Ferraris. So some of the AM guys are really up to pace on this. So yeah, they certainly mix it in with the pros more often than not.
In fact, we were talking to Alex Martin earlier on. He's technically an AM driver, but he's so quick that they said, no, you've got to go in the pro class. So yes, it really can be a nice sort of distribution of drivers to, of course, the weekend. We are, of course, in the beautiful Scarperia region of Italy. This is the heart of Ferrari country. It is the circuit, of course, owned by the Scuderia, and it is a very partisan crowd and a very enthusiastic group of spectators and VIP guests being treated to the very best in Italian motorsport. Mugello, second only to Spa in a lot of drivers' minds for technical difficulty, and it certainly gave us an incredible race yesterday, Charlie.
It did, yes. Although lots of corners, not easy to overtake, and you really have to work hard to get past people, so it's tough work.
A quick recap of the first race then in the Ferrari Challenge Europe TropheoPirelli. A good start off the line from Philippe Baron as the lights went green, and he never really looked back after that. Alex Martin got a cracker of a getaway in yesterday's race, side by side with Raffaele Giannoni on the run to the first corner, and he managed to put himself into second place very comfortably. Giannoni was pushing harder than perhaps he should have done, trying to get himself back into second position, but eventually the move came. He came from a long way back to make the move. Alexander Maziov, the Russian, taking a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. But Daniele Di Amato was on fire yesterday, really pushing his way through and having a great battle with Giacomo Strata. Dario Caso could be a fixture in today's race, starting from pole position for this one, and he'll be one to look out for. It got a little bit too close for comfort at times between Di Amato and Strata, and that could have been an opportunity for Gostner to get himself involved. In the mid-pack, it got a little bit too close for comfort too for the 88. And Merckx will probably be hoping for better this time, as too will his assassin, Robert Purgel. Through the ebb and flow of the race yesterday, second position was not quite going to be Alexander Martin's. He had to fight off the attentions of the entirety of the field for third. Giannoni eventually getting through, but everybody else struggling to keep up with him. Philippe Baron, however, had it all his own way yesterday, and he absolutely blitzed the competition yesterday, and he'll be hoping, against hope possibly, to do exactly the same today. And let's be honest, Philippe Baron is going to have his work cut out for him today, because he was second in qualifying, but taking that sixth place handicap, he's going to start 11th on the grid for this one.
Yeah, no, it's going to be extremely hard for him to come through. Obviously, he's got good race pace, as we saw yesterday, but it's hard around here to make big moves, especially with the cars being so close. So we'll see how he gets on, but I'm sure he'll move forward.
So the second race here at the Autodromo di Mugello for the Ferrari Challenge Europe TropheoPirelli for both Pro and Am categories is up next. Dario Caso on pole position from Giacomo Strata, with Oknaj and Merckx on row 2. This is how close they were in qualifying. Caso a full second ahead of Strata in qualifying, but the handicap penalties, of course, come into play. But Oknaj and Merckx could be ones to watch from the front row of the grid. Both of them will want to improve on how they performed yesterday, and in terms of starting position, they already have. Going to row 3, Daniele Di Amato, definitely the one to watch, along with the leading AM driver in the championship, Ezequiel Perez-Companc of Argentina. Then Tommaso Rocca and David Gostner on row 4. Row 5 is the British driver Alexander Martin and Robert Purgel. And then we have Philippe Baron, the fastest man all weekend, in 11th alongside the hard-charging Alessandro Vezzoni. Then Peter Vanko in row 7 alongside David Avogadri. And then Alexander Moiseev will be hoping for anything other than a drive-through penalty in race 2 alongside Vadim Gitlin. Then Alexis de Bernardi, the Luxembourg driver, alongside Socio del Pret. Lubomir Jakubik and Patryk Tkac, Josef Jakubik and Raffaele Giannoni all the way down in 22nd on the grid, along with Dusan Palcha and Maxim Lukyanov. Giannoni getting a bad qualifying, and that really has hindered him for this race.
Yeah, he'll be interesting to watch actually, because he was very impressive yesterday, and I'm sure he's going to come through the field, but he seems quite a sensible guy. I've seen him in the garage over the last few days, and seems quite sensible, and I'm sure we're going to see him come through.
So you can see the social network for the Ferrari Challenge, the @Ferrari Races for Twitter and facebook.com/Ferrari on Facebook. It is a great championship, and you can follow all the action through the season on corsacliente.com as well. And this really is a great proving ground. Charlie, of course, you use this as preparation for British GT along with Jacques Devere, and the two of you have done Brit car races in the UK. This is a brilliant training ground for drivers like yourself coming through.
No, the Ferrari Challenge is great. Yeah, myself and Jacques, who's racing in the Copper Shell class, he'll be taking part full time in the championship this year, and we do some endurance races together. But the cars are good. Probably about 4, 5, 6 seconds, depending on the circuit, away from a GT3 car. But obviously, have a high level of performance and great. This championship certainly goes to some great circuits, and it's competitive and a good package.
I'm enjoying this onboard helmet cam from Giacomo Strata. Have done all weekend long, and it's going to be interesting to see how he makes that run down to the first corner. Looking at the rear end of the number 11, the Scuderia Praha car of Robert Pergel. Shame, although this aerodynamic package definitely makes the cars better to handle, it doesn't exactly help the aesthetics of looking behind you with the camera. That wing is completely in the way.
Not always designed for that, but yeah, certainly the cars are nice with a little bit of aero on, so the drivers tend to prefer them, but maybe not ideal for the cameramen.
Well, it's definitely improved the championship in terms of the balance of the car. We were talking to Alex earlier. I mean, you obviously have done a lot of mileage this weekend on the Friday. What is the big difference with the aero added to these cars?
When you add the wings and the front downforce and the rear wings, it kills a little bit of the straight line speed with extra drag from the car from the aero, but it generates more downforce through the corners. So under braking and through the corners, the car feels a lot more stable and has to be taken into consideration. These cars are actually probably at the end of the straight here 10, 15, 20 kilometers quicker than a GT2 or a GT3 car. So with the extra downforce, it does just help the cars become a little bit more stable and a bit more drivable. And
it's a great warm-up for a GT3 event as well, because you get that balance of the driving.
Absolutely, yeah, perfect. A great starting block for a lot of these guys.
So the two rows are forming up. The lights are out on the safety car, which means the next time they come past the start-finish line on a rolling start, we will be racing here at Mugello for 30 minutes, and it is the second race of the weekend. Yesterday, it was one-way traffic for Philippe Baron, and we've had 3 different winners from the first 3 races in both the Pro and Am categories. And it's going to be Dario Caso starting in the prime position to give himself his first win. He had 2 podiums at Monza, 3rd in race 1, 2nd in race 2. He was 4th in yesterday's race. He's going to be hoping that he's got enough in the tank today to go for the victory. And as they come across the start-finish line, the lights will go green, and we'll be racing for the 2nd time this weekend. A long hold, green lights, and away we go, and a couple of good starts in the mid-pack, and it looks like Caso's got the jump on Strata, and D'Amato makes his way across the escape road for the exit of the pit lane. He is pushing hard, trying to get on terms with Oknaj, who is side by side with Merckx, and it looks like up from 6th position is that Perez Compac making his way through around the outside in 3rd position. Yes, it is. He's up to 3rd after a cracking getaway. The Argentine moving into 2nd position now. A brilliant start from Perez Compac, and it looks too as though Strata is under pressure from Merckx. He bounces across the dust, and everybody just about getting through the first couple of corners, although Merckx has run wide. He's managed to get back in position behind D'Amato and trying to stay in front of Costner. Costner has to swerve to avoid him. A brilliant start in this one.
Great start. The main thing is it's good to see all the guys have got around those first few corners, and that's now things can settle down. And there we go, see Alex Martin just slotting in there, but
I think that's the 59. That's Vanko. Vanko's gone deep there, too deep into the corner.
Gave him the curse. Right on the limit there, the guys. So, but they're all through, relatively unscathed after the first few corners.
So it was Vanko that went off. Maybe we're going to get to see how he did it. Now, this is the aftermath of that little moment between Merckx and his colleague. I couldn't quite remember who it was there, but Baron, look at him charging through the field. He's up past Oknaj already, so that puts Baron into, well, goodness me, that puts him in at least the top 6, I think. He's already made a cracking start as Baron, and Merckx is there in 5th position battling with Gosner. No, Baron is in 10th position. Well, it's 9th now, isn't it? Because he's just got past Oknash, so he is flying already.
Yeah, these guys are taking advantage of their kind of gained experience and everything else, and moving up at over the first few laps. But I think we'll then see the kind of chain settle down. Ooh, that's close there, but they're just giving each other enough space. And this will be side by side onto the main straight now, so it'll be a drag race down to turn 1.
Yeah, it certainly will. Merckx and Gosner running side by side. Behind them is Tommaso Rocca in the 97. He's going to be trying to get a slipstream from these two, and then we've got Martin and Baron battling for position for 8th place. Caso leads, Perez Compact, D'Amato, Strata still side by side, these two for 5th position. Gosner and Merckx. Gosner just put a nose ahead on the line, but Merckx held the inside line for that first corner at San Donato. He's run wide though.
It's a little deep into the first chicane now. This is going to be, he's going to lose some exit speed now. So we're seeing the little concertina effect, the bunching up behind. And will there be a run on the way out? No, they're all out cleanly. So
absolutely.
No.
Gosner really struggling to hold on to his momentum there as well, because he had Tommaso Rocca really pressuring him, and Baron is there as well, the Austrian, right on his tail. He's been the fastest man all weekend by a long, long way, until this morning when Daniele D'Amato really showed his speed this morning, fighting an extra 5/10 of a second, nearly 6/10 of a second on him. But Baron and D'Amato definitely the ones to watch, and D'Amato is already up into 3rd place.
Yeah, as is Baron's just moved up that place from Alex Martin, which Alex will be on the back of Baron now and trying to go with him. But I think D'Amato is going to be the one that we might see moving up into, yeah, certainly moving up in the next lap or so.
And Vizzoni made a move on Robert Pergel as well. This is on board with Giacomo Strata as Daniele D'Amato makes the move. We already saw D'Amato come across the line ahead of Strata, but that's how he did it. And this is the battle for 3rd position now, because D'Amato has made his way past Perez Compact. He really is flying around here.
Yeah, I think Perez Compact, I know he's thinking a lot about his AM Championship, and he's a great young lad. I've been chatting to him in the garage, and he's really happy to be here. Flies over from Argentina every weekend, and yeah, just loving the circuits, the championship and everything else. So he's just trying to soak in as much as he can and learn from these guys at the front. So I'd like to think he'll hold his position now and stay in 3rd, but certainly I think he's thinking about the AM Championship as much as the overall result.
Well, he's certainly thinking about staying in a good position, but now he's going to have Giacomo Strata all over his tail. And here's Philip Baron chasing down Tommaso Rocca. He goes one way, then goes the other. He plays a dummy on him up the inside of the hairpin. Thank you very much indeed. And I'm going to move my way into 7th position. Very nice. Baron is flying through the field. He's 3rd in the pro standings at the moment. Caso still leading from D'Amato, but D'Amato certainly seems to have the edge in the second lap. D'Amato is already, he was faster in at least the first sector of the lap, but at the moment Caso and D'Amato pretty much matched for pace. The fastest man over the second lap was Dario Caso, but that is probably because he had the cleanest track. Now this is a replay of how Ezequiel Perez Compact got into 2nd. It was just a very nice move. Strata was caught completely off guard there.
Yeah, nice and clean, down the inside, a little bit wide into the second part of the chicane, but gets the car slowed enough, makes his apex, and a nice run out of the corner. Good job.
Absolutely textbook. And now Dario Caso is leading, and he's looking for his first win of the season, while Daniele D'Amato is looking for his 2nd win of the season as he charges after Caso, who's not yet won. On board with Strata, still looking towards Ezequiel Perez Compact. Two completely different lines from these two drivers. Which is the fastest, or is there not really a faster line?
I would say there, Strata just ended up a little bit deep in the middle of the chicane and didn't quite get the exit as well as Perez Compact. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other really there, but you could see when they exited the corner they were very similar. But I think Strata might be in position here to make a move at the last corner. We'll watch this in one moment. No, he's defending just enough, I think. Yeah, he's covered the middle of the road, so he's yeah, we'll have to wait another lap.
And this is the thing we were discussing earlier on when watching the Courchevel race. It's so easy to make a move from a long way back in these cars because they are so adept at stopping from long distances. You really can go for that move if you feel you're committed enough to make it.
Yes, yeah, you've just got to be decisive on the brakes, and when you make a move, not be half-hearted, not be 50%, be committed to it and down the inside and get the job done as cleanly as you can.
Wow, Perez Compact is really defending his territory well here. There's not much Giacomo Strata can do to get past him at the moment. The Argentine is really, he's completely, absolutely steadfast in his defence. He is not giving Strata an inch of opportunity here. But I just don't think he's going to be able to keep this up for the next 23.5 minutes.
No, he's going to have a long, long 20, 25 minutes with a bunch of guys he's got behind him. He's got some, there we see Barron, some experienced guys coming up behind. So let's hope he holds on and keeps out of trouble. But I think, well, we'll see how it settles down over the next few laps. But expect Barron certainly to be coming through that pack.
Well, this battle between Perez Companc and Strata was a second ahead of the battle for 5th position overall, but it certainly isn't anymore. Merckx, Barron, Gosner, Roca and Martin are all pretty much there or thereabouts. So we have got this concertina effect, as you said, and it's really going to be about who blinks first, who goes for the move, because Strata is not going to want to sit behind Perez Companc more than he has to. Cazo pushing. Yeah,
I've just seen as well, I think Barron's just past Merzak then. I think I could be wrong, but just checking the screen. There
yes,
you go.
Has.
Yeah, he's behind Strata. So yeah, his lights are on and he's he's obviously pushing. But I think the first two will be too far in the distance by that stage. But we'll see how that one plays out.
Daniele Diamato and Dario Cazo were absolutely dead level in the first sector, 27.1 apiece, and only a 1/10 of a second between them in the second sector. So we'll have to see what the times are like in the third. But Perez Companc and Strata battling for the AM class win, holding up Philippe Barron and the rest of the field a lot now. That's just because they're not slower than the guys behind them, they're just in the battle. There's always opportunities to lose momentum and gain momentum, and that's backing them into the rest of the pack.
Yeah, especially around here in the chicanes, just when one driver defends a little bit and it just loses momentum all the way through. But you can see actually Perez Companc's just got a little gap there, and he's Barron down the inside, great move, and he's on the move quickly, isn't he? So let's see how Perez Companc copes with him over the next couple of laps.
And Strata had to be careful about how he let him go as well, because obviously he's battling for the AM class win with Perez Companc, but he didn't want to. He just left the door open, didn't he? He's got points to think about. Barron is obviously quicker than him. He's just got to time it right and hope he doesn't lose too much time to Perez Companc in the manoeuvre.
Yeah, and he'll know the timesheets. He knows how quick Barron is. Obviously, you don't let someone pass on purpose, but he knows he's got nearly 20 minutes or over 20 minutes of the race left, so it'd be a long 20 minutes with Barron behind. So he's trying to probably go with Barron now and see if that opens up the opportunity for his class win.
And it's looking very tight between them as well. Perez Companc and Strata quite evenly paced, although the last lap, because Strata, I think, was trying to make the move on Perez Companc once or twice in the lap and it didn't work. He was 4/10 slower, but all it's going to take is Barron to make his move on Perez Companc, and the pendulum will swing back into Strata's favour. So he's got to stay hungry, he's got to keep pushing and give himself that opportunity. Merckx is 6th, Gosner 7th, Roca 8th. Alex Martin is there in 9th place, the Brit, just ahead of Oknaj, although it was Oknaj. Now it looks like Vizzoni has got past Oknaj. In fact, I think Oknaj has actually fallen back into the clutches of Robert Purgel now. Yes, he has, down in 11th position. So it's a nice little battle between them. Here comes Barron, trying to make his move on Perez Companc.
Yeah, straight down the inside, and look at, I think Perez Companc knew he was coming through and has just given him enough room there, and I'm sure he's going to try and go with him now over the next couple of laps, keep on his pace and be dragged along by him rather, and I hope that opens up the gap a little bit behind him to Strata.
Well, that's it, sitting on his tail and getting that aerodynamic drag. He doesn't even need to get back past him here, but it is going to take him further away from Giacomo Strata, and it would hopefully, as far as he is concerned, keep that advantage between them. It's only about 9/10 of a second as they come across the line, but it's certainly going to give him a better chance of winning the class. This is how he did it. Philippe Barron positioned the car well, braked in time, left Perez Companc enough room to make a return move if he needed to, but he knew he had the pace, and so very nicely done there by Philippe Barron.
Yeah, you can just see as well now, Diamato obviously over the first few laps and Barron have come through the pack now, but from Perez Companc to around about the top 10, top 12, kind of just behind Alex Martin, that kind of distance. They're all at a very similar speed, only tenths between them. So all these guys, I think, are going to, struggle to overtake unless people's tyres start to go off in that last 10, 10, 7, 6 minutes of the race when they tend to start to struggle a little bit. But I think this kind of pack now after the top 3 or 4 will settle down quite comfortably.
Well, Diamato, Barron and Cazo were the top 3 drivers in qualifying this morning, with Diamato the fastest by about 4/10 of a second, 5/10 of a second, and then Barron a further a couple of hundredths of a second ahead of, well, even 1/100th of a second ahead of Dario Cazo. So we know that these 3 are the fastest around Mugello this weekend. So it's now about who's going to be better over the last 20 minutes, and the gap between Diamato and Barron has shot up to about 6.3 seconds, so that's a lot of time to make up. Wheel to wheel, up the inside. That looks to me to be the 16 of Del Pret going wheel to wheel with Vanco. Vanco, I think, was the one who went off on the first lap. He seems to have recovered very well. He obviously hasn't lost too much ground as they battle it out for 9th position in the AM category, and that is 15th on the road. But Del Pret has got past Vanco and kept his position. Vanco desperately trying to get back up the order. Then it's Avogadri in the 48. This is Jakovic, the Slovakian driver. Lubomir Jakovic being traced down by Gitlin, I think it is, in the 72. So battles all the way through the field here, Charlie.
Yeah, one thing I was going to add is it's great to see with the Ferrari Challenge that yeah, there's always someone always two cars seem to be racing each other somewhere in the pack. It's yeah, competitive right from the front, and obviously it fades away down the field, but these guys are still having really wheel-to-wheel close racing. So yeah, great championship in that sense.
Well, look at the gap that Philip Barron has put on Ezequiel Perez Compact, the Argentine. And just take a look at the lap times of these top three drivers. Caso went through on a 1:54.7. D'Amato went through on a 1:54.9. Barron just did a 1:54.6, so he's quicker than both the leaders.
And also the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. However, impressive lap times, 54.6 race pace in the mid-afternoon, but early afternoon. But it's only chipping away a tenth or two here and there, and I think maybe, in my opinion, Caso and D'Amato are yeah, that little bit too far ahead for Barron to obviously be closing the gap, but whether it's too much in the time that they've got left, but we'll wait and see.
We're about the halfway point in this half-hour race, but it's all about tyre conservation now, isn't it? These guys have got to look after the car, they've got to look after the brakes, they've got to look after the tyres.
Yeah, and one thing you're noticing with Strata, I would say, is as he's been following Perez Compact for all the race, in the pack all the race, his tyres will be getting used slightly harder, just that little bit less aero grip because he's in dirty air and a bit more heat and everything else. So yeah, maybe he'll just start to struggle a bit, and you can notice now there's not that much pressure coming on Perez Compact from his side. He's yeah, he's just kind of seems comfortable with that gap now. So yeah, hopefully he'll hold position there.
Now, we were talking to Alex Martin earlier. A lot of the drivers here over the chicanes and over the curbs are trying to use a lot of curb to try and gain a couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there. But one of the problems that he and a couple of other drivers were having on the Friday when they were doing their installation laps was punctures. Now, this is something that it is a bit hotter than it was yesterday. This is going to be a bit of a consideration for the drivers. Yeah,
I mean, Alex is, yeah, his pace is really quick now for Alex Martin, but he's also got a lot of experience in these cars. So he's been to a lot of these circuits before. He knows which curbs you can use at certain times of the race, and certainly probably knows which curbs you can use in qualifying, for example. Maybe Mugello is an example. Certain corners you can use curbs, but Monza would be the obvious circuit where you know when to attack the curbs and maybe when to just ease off them. So Alex is experienced in this sense now, so he's kind of got that knowledge in his head of how hard to push at different times of the race. There we see him approaching us now, two yellow cars actually, but Alex in the first car. But yeah, he's got experience of how to look after the tyres now, and hopefully he'll put that into play over this last 15 minutes of the race. I think he'll be sat in there, but the thing he's got is the guys in front of him have also got the experience, so it's whether he can outwit any of those and move forward a little bit.
It's almost stalemate at this point, because it's about the drivers have got to keep the pressure up on each other. It's if there's any one driver who loses a bit of momentum, then it could end up going anybody's way. Merckx still pushing the Belgian. I think just behind this we saw Vezzoni being caught by the battle between Pergel and Giannoni. Giannoni has actually worked his way up. He's now 13th position. He is one of the fastest drivers out on track at the moment, and he's certainly fought his way up. He started 22nd on the grid, so to be in 13th place, it just shows you exactly how hard he's pushing.
Yeah, impressive. He's yeah, moved forward, kept out of trouble, and there we see Alex Martin in the Dextra car. The last corner is, yeah, should have a good run onto the straight and no worries that lap. You can see the marbles being kicked up, or gravel being kicked up from the outside of the circuit. One nice thing,
drivers going off there today, I think.
Yes, one nice thing about the circuit not being a Grand Prix circuit is there's still gravel and runoff and grass and things, and although it's safe, it's not too safe with too much painted tarmac and things, so it adds a bit of danger or excitement to some of the drivers' lap when they're dropping a wheel into the gravel, so they know they've made a mistake rather than just keeping the foot in.
Well, you saw Raffaele Giannoni trying to size up Robert Pergel for a move down at San Donato. We'll keep an eye on that one on the timesheets and see if he's made it through. But interesting to see that while they were battling closely earlier on, Ezequiel Perez Compact is now 1.7 away from Strata in their battle for the AM class, and this is looking very good for Perez Companc. It looks like we're not going to get four different
somebody
winners.
slowed there, the SMP car.
Yeah, that was...
sorry, to let Baron through. Yeah,
that's right. That's good old Lukyanov, who's already had some entertaining moments over the course of this race. He ended up getting in the way on a couple of occasions during yesterday's race, but on this occasion, Baron is able to just sweep straight by. Oh, and that's an off! Now, that's got to be Perez Companc, isn't it? I think he might have tried to make his move on Lukyanov to lap him, and it's ended up causing a bit of a headache.
Yeah, it's hard to see then. I'm looking at the timing screens now, so let's wait and see. But I certainly hope not. Let's hope we've all got round. Well, even if it was a bit of gravel, let's hope he's stayed on the track. But we'll find out in a moment.
Well, this is the battle for 21st place overall. This is Jakubik and Tkach, who have been battling all the way through the race. But a big moment, and you can still see the dust has been left at that particular part of the circuit. It's certainly the next person due behind Lukyanov, who is now a lap down. Should have been Ezequiel Perez Companc, and it certainly looked like he ran wide. And I can tell you he is still running ahead of Giacomo Strata.
Here we go. No, he's just dropped a wheel off himself, it seems.
That's
right.
He's
just come at the top of the hill.
And Strata will be kicking himself that he wasn't closer to him, because that could have been the one opportunity that he'll get in this race to try and make the move. And look, he's struggling under braking because he's got dirty tyres.
We see the AF course guys there looking after Perez Companc car, Alex Martin and D'Amato. So, they're busy this afternoon.
And it's still very close indeed between Carzo and D'Amato. For the first couple of laps of the race, Carzo had the edge on D'Amato. Now the pendulum has swung. D'Amato seems to be getting the pace on Carzo, and he just cannot afford to rest a moment, can Dario Carzo. He is really having to push hard here, because Daniele D'Amato, who was fastest in qualifying this morning by a long way in Ferrari Challenge terms, over half a second, he's got to find the pace to keep up with Daniele D'Amato, who really seems to have looked after his tyres well, and he's now charging hard.
Yeah, just looking at the timing screens, the D'Amato's last lap was 2.5 tenths quicker than Carzo, so he's slowly coming at him again. So it's still, a third of the race left, effectively, just over 10 minutes. So I think this one is far from over.
And it looks like a bit of a hairy moment for Jakubik. I think he's just gone a little bit too wide off, I think that was probably on the exit of the Borgo San Lorenzo on the run down to Casanova. Either that or it was through the exit of Poggio Secco on the run to Materassi, but it's so tough to tell. Those two chicanes are very similar from the outside, very different from on board the car though.
They are, yes. When you're driving them, obviously, every corner you drive anywhere in the world has a different feel to it, but similar style, but you've just got to be patient in the middle of both of them. Slightly different speeds, the minimum speeds in the middle of the corner, but ultimately the exit's important. D'Amato's really pushing now as well, really pushing. Another quick lap by him on the last lap.
Yeah, considering that these guys are in equal machinery, D'Amato is finding an extra 0.2 of a second per lap. Now that doesn't sound like much, but when he's 0.8 of a second behind Dario Carzo, and they're coming up on they're coming up on traffic as well now. The next man for them to deal with is Dusan Palcha. Palcha gets out of the way for Dario Carzo. He's going to struggle to get out of the way in time for Daniele D'Amato. He's got to stay to the left of the circuit, forcing Daniele D'Amato to go down the inside line. Just about okay with that one. I think he might have lost a couple of tenths though.
Yeah, to be fair, D'Amato did drop a wheel in the gravel on the gravel on the exit of the previous chicane. So the back marker, I think, we did a good enough job.
So it looked like Dusan Palcha have a feeling there. Well, Carzo was being caught by D'Amato on that lap. As Palcha came through, it looked like there was some rubber coming off either his tyres or maybe the car in front, which of course is Daniele D'Amato. More off-track excursions, and I think this time, it's hard to tell who that one was, unfortunately, but more off-track excursions, and that just shows you how hard the drivers are pushing. And it's going to throw more gravel onto the circuit, and that's going to make grip really tricky for the last 10 minutes of this race.
Yeah, as the circuit gets dirtier and the tyres go off and the temperature rises and all those factors built in together, the cars become harder to drive. So one thing that's worth taking into consideration as well is the fitness of the drivers and how well they're driving. But Carzo, I think, has actually pulled a little bit that last lap, just looking at the sector screens, but it's certainly seems to have pulled a little gap on D'Amato over the last lap, maybe with the traffic and various other things.
Well, other than the leaders, the closest battle on track is between Merckx, Gosner and Rocca. They're fighting it out for 6th position. a three-way scrap at the moment. They're separated by about 1.6 seconds between them all. Ezequiel Perez-Companc in the background there, still charging away from Giacomo Strata. And here comes that battle I mentioned. And Gostner getting a massive slide onto the curbs as he tries very close indeed now to chase down Florian Merckx, who started 4th on the grid and is now down in 6th position. This could be an opportunity for Gostner. He goes to the left and he's going to try and outbrake him. Can he hold it on the outside line? Merckx is not going to let him, but he might get the undercut here. He's run wide and Gostner says thanks very much.
Great job. Set him up, didn't make the move, kind of tempted him into outbraking himself, did exactly what he needed to got the run on the way out, and yeah, good job, nice clean move, but good by both drivers.
That's a pro move from a driver in the AM class there. Great work from David Gostner, and now Rocker flashing his headlights as if to say, come on, either get on with it or get out the way.
Yes, yeah, just that normal racing driver. Let's see if we can put each other off with a flash of the lights, but I'm sure he's looking, thinking, yeah, turning his head away from the mirrors, and he's not too worried, but yeah, trying his hardest throughout. Oh, who's that? Someone into the gravel there.
That's to catch, and he's into the wall as well. Yeah, that's a game over, I think. If he
Alex Martin again in the Dexter car. He hasn't managed to shake off Oksna in this stint, has he? So in the race, so yeah, but he's there. He's comfortable. He's not having big pressure, but he just needs to latch back onto the bunch in front of it. He's just run a tiny bit wide there. He's okay, he's out of the corner.
Well, this is one of those races where he's got to consolidate the position he's in. David Gostner just goes for it on Dusan Palcha to lap him. I know he's a lap ahead of him, but you've got to know you can get past no problem. Merckx gets through, Rocca goes through. It looks like a couple of drivers have still been flicking up the dust. Oh, this is going to get a bit of a problem. Come on, Dusan, you've got to get out of the way. The leaders are coming by, and he does so just in the nick of time before Martin and Oknaj. One wheel on the grass there for Oknaj, and he nudges Martin. I think he wanted to use that bit of momentum as an opportunity to get by, and there just wasn't enough room. Martin was never going to give him the space.
No, and he actually did a good job. Then he went and just nearly had a wheel on the grass, but yeah, slowed the car enough to not hit the back of Alex, and the move is now on because he's lost his exit speed.
Yep.
So behind him, Zeroni's got got the run and he's got the job done behind. So that's given Alex a little bit of a break as well, just in front. So he needs to get his head down now and yeah, get on with it and get away from these guys in front of him.
Very nicely done there by Vizzoni, once again seizing the opportunity. He carped that DM, didn't he? Absolutely brilliant move. Let's have a look at what happened there. Just going for the move. There was just enough space on the entrance, and then Martin saw him coming and went, no, you're not getting by there.
Let's see what's I think Alex, going back to one of the questions before, Alex is having a solid weekend, a podium yesterday, and he'll just be looking at picking up more points in the pro class, and he's 4th in that at the moment, and yeah, I'm sure he'll rack up some more points and move away from the weekend onwards and upwards.
And just like you, Charlie, of course, Alex Martin has his eyes on British GT success.
Yes, yeah, I'm racing with Jacques Dwiver in a couple of weeks, actually, with AF Corsa in the GT3 car at Silverstone. Yeah, so Jacques was racing here earlier today, so yeah, we'll see how the weekend goes. Looking forward to it.
We just saw a replay of Florian Merckx pushing David Gostner so hard that he ended up putting a wheel on the gravel. Carzo still desperately trying to hang on from D'Amato. He's been able to open up the gap again by about a 10th per lap in the last sort of 5 laps, but we've got 5 minutes to go. And both of them are being caught hand over fist by Philippe Baron. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get past them. But considering the lap times, Carzo comes through in a 1:55.36, D'Amato on a 1:55.38, and Baron on a 1:55.22. So Baron is definitely catching them. In fact, on the previous lap, to the one we've just completed, he was 0.3 of a second quicker than the leaders. So Baron really is desperately trying to catch up with these two. I just think he's going to run out of time now.
Yeah, and I think the level of these first 3 certainly is so high that yeah, even if they catch each other, there's tenths between. So unless there's any big mistakes, I'd be surprised if any moves are made. But like we're seeing between Carzo and D'Amato, they're very close, but yeah, not much being done. Just looking at Perez-Companc there that we're seeing, he's still is opening up his gap. You can see the first 3 on lap times are quite a step ahead of the rest, but then he's certainly yeah, doing a really solid job leading in the AM class and 4th overall.
That's very true. He's pulled out 4 seconds over. Oh dear, that's Purgle. Purgle's gone in the gravel somewhere.
That's a shame.
And how on earth has he done that? Is that a solo job, or has he got an accomplice? We'll find out, no doubt, on the replay. But Robert Purgel, who's had a bit of a miserable weekend, he got into a collision with Florian Merckx yesterday, and he's ended his race again. He's struggling to get the door open by the look of it at the moment, or get his belts off or whatever, but out of the car he gets. That's Moiseev, who has stopped on the inside of the apex. Now, is that going to be enough for a safety car? That's a very dangerous position.
Yeah, that looks like quite a big incident, actually, based on where Purgel's ended up and where his car stopped. But yeah,
is that on the entry to the Arrabbiata?
No, he's pulling away. Yeah, he's pulling away. So he's damaged rear left.
Oh no, that's San Donato. That's at San Donato. Yeah. That's the first corner,
I think. On the exit to the first corner into the second, into the chicane, the second corner. He needs to actually pull that car out onto the grass now and park it rather than stopping somewhere on the circuit. But it seems to be moving okay, so hopefully he'll keep out of the way of the leaders, so we don't have any drama on that side.
Certainly no messages of any safety cars or caution periods, much to our delight. It allows this great battle to continue. But yeah, that was a bit of a sloppy one from Moiseev. He should have realised his suspension was broken. They do have driver radios, and when your suspension's broken, what is the point trying to bring it back to the pits? Because we've got recovery crews to do that after the race. Yeah, and you often do more damage to the car driving it back. Obviously, if it's a longer race, an endurance race, a 24-hour race, you need to get the car back into the pit lane. But if you can park it in a safe position and wait, it's probably best in this case. Well, Alex Martin trying his best to close in on Florian Merckx in the battle for 8th position. Still holds 9th overall, which is good enough for 4th in the pro category, but he's got to be careful because Oknaj is 2 places behind him with Vizzoni, the am meat in a pro sandwich, as it were. And this is what happened. Whoa, that was a big incident. So Purgel. Yeah, it's hard to know what's happened there. Obviously, it's a big lock-up or slide. Well, it's well, that's really bizarre. It's like Purgel lost it on his own, and then Moiseev, maybe there's oil on the track? Yeah, I was just going to say, these cars shouldn't lock up under braking because they've got ABS braking systems, but obviously we see a lot of smoke there, whether the smoke's from a slide into the corner or if it was a lock-up, but then the spin after, it's there's a tyre gone there on the left rear, so well, maybe it's hard to know exactly. Maybe Moiseev is the first person in this race to pick up a puncture from running over those curbs or whatever, I don't know, but it was a very bizarre moment. It just kind of suddenly the car swapped ends for no reason by the look of it. Yes, yeah, hard to know when there's 2 of them involved, whether there'd been a bit of light contact on the braking or a mechanical error or so wouldn't like to say. Well, Carzo laps another back marker on his run to victory. A minute to go, so this is going to be the final lap. And Daniele Diamato is 1.5 seconds behind him. It's not going to be close enough to even consider a move. Although, if our timing screens are right, Carzo's just done a 1:56.3 and Diamato's done a 1:55.8. I think that might be down to traffic more than anything else. Yeah, and also Carzo's got a little bit of a gap, so he knows he can just look after everything, although there we go, we can see the traffic. Well, that's Lukyanov not just slowing down for traffic, that's him breaking down, I think. So Lukyanov, that's even too slow for a back marker, really, unless he's suddenly been told. I think maybe the team's informed him of the traffic and he's doing his best to keep right out of the way, and sometimes that's worse than keeping up the momentum with traffic. But yeah, Diamato's still got that gap. Final lap. I don't think we're going to see anything happen here. You could see Carzo's on board. If you just look at his hands, he's still wrestling with the car. It's clear that the tyres have taken their toll after half an hour, and you're still balancing the car. The thing is, he cannot afford to rest for a moment. He doesn't have the luxury that Philip Barron had earlier on of seconds and seconds on Diamato. Diamato has pushed him all the way, and he's still pushing him on this last lap. Yeah, I mean, this pace that they're running at the end of the race is really quick for this time in the afternoon on the tyres that have obviously now doing a race run after qualifying and so on. So you see these top 2 or top 3 with Barron just behind are all pushing hard, and a good step ahead of everyone this weekend, I think. Absolutely brilliant job from these 2. We thought it might be Daniele Diamato who gave it to Dario Carzo, and we were right, he certainly was, but he wasn't able to match the pace. Dario had a trick up his sleeve and he was ready to go pound for pound. It's the first time this season that Dario Carzo has been able to take full advantage of the position given to him, and he becomes the 4th different winner in 4 races in the pro category. It's a brilliant drive and a brilliant win. Dario Carzo takes the victory and he is delighted. Absolutely brilliant drive. Daniele Diamato is in 2nd place and Philip Barron is 3rd. to prove that the 3 fastest men this weekend were on the top 3 steps of the podium. And Alex Martin still battling away with Florian Merckx on the last lap. 4th position and the class win in the AM category for the Argentine Ezequiel Perez Companc. He'll be delighted with that. Strata 2nd in class and 5th across the line. Roca is 6th across the line, so he got Gosner on the last lap, with Merckx, Martin, Vezzoni, Oknaj and Giannoni finishing in 12th position at the end. So he managed to climb his way up 10 places off the start. Good drive from Giannoni, almost unnoticed.
Yeah, no, great drive. He just worked his way through the slower cars, moved forward and scored some good points. I think he'll be happy. Yeah,
that's going to give him 7th in the AM category, and that could be the difference between the championship and not at the end of the season. Good race by all. There's a few couple of incidents we could mention, but nothing really to write home about. And a fantastic drive out in front by Dario Cazzo, who really made that a race worth winning. He was pushed all the way by D'Amato, and then eventually by D'Amato and Barron, who was really charging. And this is how Roca got that place. Gosner on the last lap pushing hard, and Roca said, well, thanks very much. That's exactly what Giacomo Strata wanted to do on Ezequiel Perez Companc when he ran wide on his own, but it didn't happen. So victory in the end then for Dario Cazzo from Daniele D'Amato and Philip Barron. What a drive.
No, good day's racing. Yeah, one thing I'd say with these top 3 guys, they know that they've got to make the most of when they get put back down the grid from their success penalties from the first race. So I think all 3 will be happy with their positions. Obviously, D'Amato was qualified on pole by 5/10, but got moved down the grid because of yesterday's result. So coming back up to 2nd would be a great result for him, as will Philip Barron, moving him back up to 3rd position. So I think all these guys will be happy with what they've achieved today.
And that's all about the psychology, isn't it? They know they've got these handicap penalties, but they want to put on a good show in qualifying to throw down the gauntlet to their opposition. Any way they can outfox them is a good advantage.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can see, they know they're fast, but they also want to, they know they're fast, but it's not just about starting further back down the grid. They want to prove to everyone that they're quick guys and, to watch out for. So the lights will be on and they'll be going forward.
So there's your top 3 in Pro and AM. Cazzo, D'Amato and Barron are the top 3 in the Pro category. And right behind them on the track, Perez, Companc, Strata and Roca are the top 3 in the AM category. And Ezequiel Perez Companc, the Argentine, is delighted with his win in the AM category. 4th position overall. He'll be really, really chuffed with himself about that one.
Yeah, to me, actually, could be maybe driver of the race, driver of the day for that one, because he's really, really nice lad, happy to be here, and his aim is to get the win in Pro-Am, and he's done so. So I think he's done a great job behind that top 3 as well. Really impressive.
Strata did a good job in 2nd place. You can't really knock him for it. He's done a good job all weekend. Sheer relief and joy from Perez Companc. That is a great sight to see when you work so hard for a victory and the driver is able to show his emotion, and that's lovely. Tommaso Roca celebrating with the boys.
Well, dropped one of them.
That's probably not going to that's not going to endear him to the missus, I think. Keep hold of your children better than you hold on to your car, perhaps, or maybe the other way round.
So Cazzo, though, Cazzo there, very happy. Slightly older chap, but very, very fast and very impressive.
And the experience certainly helped him on his way, didn't it? He was able to fend off the challenge from Daniele D'Amato, the very impressive, super fast young gun. There he is, just handling his way through the corners again. On the slow-mos, brilliant opportunity to see these guys in motion on these corners, because you can see just how much work is going into the cars with these slow-mos, how much the cars are travelling through the corner, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely. If we look at the tyres now, you just see them kind of moving on the side of the wheel, but yeah, it's hard work. They're pushing them to the limits.
So another great race in the Ferrari Challenge Europe Pirelli Trofeo. And as the lights went green, it was all going to be about who got to the first corner first. Dario Cazzo got the initial jump on Giacomo Strata, but Daniele D'Amato in the Dayglow Orange machine made his intentions felt, making a great move on the drivers he was battling with. It was a very clean getaway, everybody just about making their way through, although very close on the first lap between Florian Merckx and David Gosner. Some great overtaking moves through the field. Pergel seeing quite a few incidents from where he was, but the battle between Merckx and Gostner was one that was going to run on through the race. Strata couldn't quite hold off Daniele Diamato, who was working his way through the field very quickly, although that was the crucial move for the Argentine. Ezequiel Perez Compact making his way on Strata. Dario Caso just able to control his pace out in front, with Daniele Diamato following in his wheel tracks, not letting up for a moment. And there were occasions where it looked like the pressure was going to get to him, but it never did. Big off for Pergel, and we think it was down to an oil problem, and that tipped Maziev into a spin, which we think was also helped along by a puncture. But the race wasn't even done yet. We thought it was going to settle down into a smooth rhythm, but Caso was having to work hard all the way through, and Daniele Diamato pushed him right to the finish line. But Caso took his first win of the year to make it 4 different winners from 4 races. Absolutely brilliant performance, and just as the race ends, we get the cloud, don't we? It's just the way. But that victory has definitely brought him into contention in 3rd place, just 3 points behind Baron, who is now just 1 behind Daniele Diamato. As far as the championship in the pro drivers is concerned, it's game on.
Very close, isn't it? Yeah, and Daniele Diamato, the kind of young Italian charger, and yeah, followed closer by a few more, the more experienced guys. So Alex Martin there also in 5th place, so it's be close all year.
Well, Perez Compact and Strata have made a break from the rest. Giannoni and Vazzoni are close for 3rd position. If Sam Smith returns, he's going to have to fend off Tommaso Rocca, but Perez Compact has 10 points on Strata at the top of the table. Well, much to the delight of 6 very tired and exhausted drivers, they get to stand on the podium. Alessandro will have found the top 3 drivers, I think, from the AM category first.
E siamo qui con Dario Caso, vincitore della seconda gara del Trofeo Pirelli Pro, pole position, giro veloce, una gara completamente fantastica.
Finalmente al Mugello, perché mi ha detto tante volte male.
Well, the first person he's found is Dario Caso, speaking in Italian, of course, to Alessandro, but don't worry, Alessandro is always very good at grabbing an English word from them as well, so stay tuned for what he thinks in English.
Sono contentissimo e ringrazio la squadra, Pellin Racing, che ha assistito la macchina benissimo, e speriamo nella prossima.
Ok, grazie.
Well, maybe not this time. Oh, of course, Dario is not one for speaking in English, is he? He doesn't seem to get on with the language too well.
Seems quite a quiet guy in the paddock. He keeps himself to himself and does the job, and yeah, gets on with it. So, yeah, but impressive job today.
He certainly drove a masterclass race from a lot of pressure from Diamato and Baron, who all weekend have proven they are the fastest 2 drivers. Dario Caso could well have been seen as the underdog in the equation between those 3, but once he held the lead, it was very easy. Well, comparatively easy it looked for Dario Caso to hang on. I bet it wasn't, though, behind the wheel. He really had to work hard for it, but the top 3 drivers in the pro category should be the ones to get their trophies first. Here is the Austrian coming on first for 3rd position. Philipp Baron took a great victory in yesterday's race and really made it look easy himself, but not today. 2nd place for Daniele Diamato, the youngster, and he put in a great drive, didn't he?
He did, absolutely, yeah. I know down in the garage he's got a lot of support with him as well, Diamato, this weekend. I don't know if it's a local circuit for him, but he must have about 20, 30 people with him, so he'll be very pleased with that.
But it's Dario Caso who wins, and therefore the Italian national anthem for Dario Caso. Brilliant drive from Dario Caso, who beat the young Chargers today. It was David versus the Goliaths in one sense. Those 2, Baron and Diamato, have proven themselves to be the fastest men all weekend. But Caso won when it mattered in race 2. Brilliant job from Baron, and it's Luigino Barp, the head of the technical assistance department for Ferrari, who gives out the trophies to our top three, to Philip Baron in third, to Daniele Diamato in second, and to Dario Caso in first place, and he will be very happy with that one. And of course to the team as well, it's a good job for the Rosso Corsa Pelin Racing squad. They pick up the trophy for victory in the pro category. And of course a second trophy as well, which we think is the Pirelli trophy for, is that for fastest lap?
Possibly, I'm not sure actually, not totally sure.
Well, what you need to do is you need to get yourself a drive in the championship, get on the top step and get
be
one.
Nice. Silverstone, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, you can tell us at Silverstone what it's for.
I'll have to find that one out actually. They seem to come back with a lot of silverware when they get on the podium here, which is good. These nice big Ferrari trophies are quite impressive.
That's one of the things that's really struck me about this weekend, is just how much hard work the Ferrari company put into putting on such an incredible show.
Oh, some of the events here are beautiful, with the package around the paddock, the Corsa Cliente hospitality, and obviously garages filled with Ferraris anyway, but lots of red shirts and lots of Italians, and it's a really nice atmosphere around the place.
And everyone is so friendly, you know, you can see the passion for Ferrari seeps through not just the spectators and the enthusiasts and the VIPs that come here, but through the people who work in the team as well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, most come from the love of Ferrari and enjoying being in the paddock.
So another interview, this time with Ezequiel Perez Companc.
Siamo qui con Ezequiel Perez Companc, vincitore della gara. 19 anni, quarta gara nella tua vita, veramente una grandissima gara. First win in this season, now you are dominating the championship.
Yeah, I'm really happy. The race was incredible, the car was incredible. Everyone in the paddock helped me a lot. And after the first turn, overtook two cars, and then started to push, build a gap, and luckily I won. Yeah. I want to thank my parents that gave me this opportunity, because I'm here because of them, because they believed in me, and all my uncles that they helped me to get me here where I am. Thank you very much.
What a wonderful tribute.
Thank you. Thank you.
He said there, luckily he won. That wasn't luck, that was pure talent.
No, not at all. And we can just see, I've chatted to him in the garage many times over the weekend, and he's really grateful to be here, really thankful, and you can see there straight away thanked his parents, and just I'm sure he's going to be over the moon on the podium, and he'll be looking up, I'm sure, and having a bit of passion when his national anthem comes on, which will be nice to see.
Absolutely, and just like we saw earlier on with Dario Caso becoming the fourth different winner over the course of the season. No, my apologies. Sorry, Dario Caso is the fourth different winner for 4 races. In the same way, Ezequiel Perez Companc is the fourth different winner in the AM category as well in 4 races, which is pretty impressive. Rocca in third place then, Giacomo Strata in second. But we're going to hear the Argentine anthem now for Ezequiel Perez Companc. What a win. So how long is it going to be before we see the young Argentine boy wonder Ezequiel Perez Companc in a GTE AM car at Le Mans, perhaps?
Yeah, well, he has a famous family that have some of that the racing background already with AF course. So I wouldn't be surprised that if this is just more than just a stepping stone into something else over the next few years. So yeah, best of luck to him and moving onwards, and I'm sure we'll see him at Le Mans over the next few years.
Luigino Barp once again giving the trophies out to Tommaso Rocca and Giacomo Strata, the Italians. But the Argentine won on their home soil today in fine style. Great drive, great manoeuvre at the start, and that was really what got him into the best position to capitalise on that. His start was electric, Charlie.
Yes, yeah, really decisive, really positioned himself well, and got his head down, and that's what probably made the difference, keeping out of trouble in those first few laps, and then on, had track position that he needed.
And he gets that fabulous trophy from Pirelli once again. And, well, it's definitely going to be a party tonight for the boys at Motor Piacenza. He's already picked up his trophy for the winning constructor. And Ezequiel Perez-Companc has done a fantastic job today, and it proves what a great championship this is. 4 different winners from 4 races in both categories. Charlie, thank you so much for joining me in the commentary box. We've had great entertainment from this race.
It's been a pleasure to be here, and yeah, nice to join you in the box and hopefully see you again during the season.
So Monza and Mugello are done. We move to the Czech Republic next time out on the 20th and 22nd of June. Are we going to get 5 different winners in 5 races? We don't know, but whatever happens, it's going to be game on in the Ferrari Challenge Europe Pirelli Trofeo. An absolutely brilliant race and a brilliant weekend. It just gets better from here.